Why do we spend countless hours and dollars out in our shop working on our cars, tinkering with our boats, putting together our motorcycles? I've always been curious what it is behind all of it. So I'm going to go out and talk to some people. And we're going to find out why.
Fat Flake, High Horsepower, and Cody Rose lured me out to Dexter Reservoir in Lowell, Oregon. The water here is incredibly beautiful and clear, but it's fast. Lucas Oil and the CDBA always bring high horsepower, high speeds, but they also bring good food, good crowds, and hot chicks. But I'm here to talk to Cody Rose and why he likes to go fast.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if it wasn't the lawnmower that you might have taken apart, that maybe your parents didn't know you were taking apart, to to a Rubik's cube, you know. So yeah, the answer to that is absolutely yes. I can't think of anything more than the riding lawnmower that took apart and never quite got back together, but. Yeah, always wondering how things work. There's not many that do it, and there's not many that do, and of course, then again, the faster the classes, the less and less and less there are.
Yeah, because I don't think a lot of people realize that the speed on water is a completely different sensation than going fast in a car.
It absolutely is, a lot of people have, a lot of people have been 120 to 150 miles an hour in a car. Very few have gone that fast in a boat. Very few. And it's like double,
Yeah.
And the things that can happen.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, on a car, going down the road, a deer can run out in front of you too. But even in a controlled environment, water is water. It's not asphalt, and so it's a different animal, that's for sure. You sold it, it's time. That first boat, my buddies, convinced me to take it to a race. It had, it was a big block Chevy, it was V-drive,
cool.
All that kind of stuff. We're talking about my first boat. So I finally took it to a race, and it was the last race of our season up here. And I raced it, and that was in September. By March, I bought this. Oh, that's I hate to use the euphoric or any of those fancy words like that.
Ethereal.
Yeah, it's just it's driving a boat fast is crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't know how fast you've been on the water.
About 75.
And that was fast.
Faster.
Yeah, and at that speed, you are
fucking hauling.
Your eyes are watering, your drink's coming out of the can. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And you think on your way home today you're going to go that fast going on the freeway.
Oh yeah.
So the first ride in a boat, it was so long ago, and I was so young. But there's nothing that'll bring a smile ear to ear, on most people. Yeah. It's either that or sheer terror.
God!
Sheer terror. I hate to say it, and it sounds super corny. My wife.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of totally silly, actually. So I'm almost embarrassed to say it. So.
So I'm not going to edit in little bubbles of hearts floating above your head. Not going to do that at all.
Yeah, she's just great, and other than that, my dad has always, he's really the one who got me into this. I don't want to say it's his fault, but it's pretty much his fault. Because we started going back when I was probably 5 or 6, going to a couple local races here. Back in the late 70s, at some of the first boat racing down in Northern California, down Redding area, which, so, he's a big reason why I'm screwed up as I am, probably. We have a championship jacket we wear, and some bragging rights for a year. We had a great year, 2012. I mean, we won everything. I mean, we won our 8-second championship. We won our Super Eliminator championship. Which is another class in there. They'd have these special King of the Track deals. I mean, we'd win that. I mean, it was getting kind of ridiculous, and you find out really quick that people don't really like somebody that wins all the time. Your friends get smaller and smaller, and everybody knows that does any type of racing.
Yeah.
You start beating everybody, and they go, oh, geez, So we just had an absolutely killer year, and what made it really special last year is that you can go to the track and you can win all that stuff, and at the end of the year, our board, all of our members of our club up here vote on various different things. And what was really special is last year I was voted best driver of the year, and that's a vote coming from our members.
Awesome.
Of course, you probably should win some races to get that. You don't have to be the champion by any means, but we did get driver of the year, which was just a really special award. And my crew chief, Andy, got crew chief of the year.
Wow.
Another voted thing.
Awesome.
So we took a lot of hardware home last year.
Awesome.
A lot of hardware. But we worked hard to get that. And this isn't a single, I can't take all the credit for this.
Totally.
It's
a team deal.
Oh, absolutely. I know everybody hears that time and time again, and it is so true. That it is, one guy can't do it himself. You have to have a team of helpers from tuners to just the guys who take you in and out of the water to, wash things off or whatever. All kinds of different jobs, so it's not a one-man operation. Well, one emotion is a very fast heartbeat, and especially right before a run.
Squirting the fuel.
Yeah, well, it's even at that point, when you get to there, you've settled back down.
Oh.
I'd say when you're on the holding rope.
Waiting to go to the line?
No, when you're on the line.
Okay, I hear you. Yeah.
Well, let's say you're about 2 or 3 boats from going. And, your heart rate just kind of races up. You got to take some deep breaths, The more you do it, that less that happens. And, unless something else happens, this year's first year I've ever been pitched out of the boat. And the next pass after that is, that emotion is like, is this, did I check everything out? Is this going to work?
I got my Kevlar shorts on, right?
Yeah. So until again that everything's back to normal, and just, your heart's going 1,000 miles a minute, and you're controlling something that doesn't necessarily want to be controlled.
it.